Hi guys, welcome to Kind of Nathan. My name's Elise and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about different terms that are used within the LGBT community. If you can see it in my glasses, I shall take them off because then you won't have the reflection to bother anybody. In front of me I've got my computer, which I can't actually read properly now. With all the different terms, because I know I don't remember them all the different terms. Some different terms that I'm going to explain to you, and if you've got any questions or anything, leave them down in the comments. So here we go. Number one, an ally. An ally is a non-LGBT person that supports and stands for the rights of LGBT people. An LGBT person can also be an ally, for example, if a lesbian stands and supports for a transgender person, she is known as an ally, and vice versa. Basically, an ally is anybody that stands and supports the right of an LGBT person, whether or not they are in the LGBT community. The next one is cisgendered. So I was like, cisgendered. Cisgender refers to an individual who has a match between their biological and gender identity, like the biological gender and their gender identity. My brother was standing outside my bedroom door. Sorry, I want to put these back on. My brother was standing outside my bedroom door and I could hear him listening to what I was saying, and I felt really awkward. Look at that. Yeah, but cisgender refers to an individual who has a match between their biological and their gender identity, like basically their biological gender and who they feel they are. Closeted. Closeted refers to a closeted person, and the expression in the closet describes an LGBTQ person who hides their sexual orientation and or gender identity from some or all people. This can be because of personal protection. Maybe they feel threatened if they'd come out, or they don't want to disappoint someone by coming out, or they feel they won't be supported. But there's many reasons why this could be done. Coming out is a term used for the process of disclosing your sexual orientation and or gender identity to some or all people. This is basically saying to your mom or a friend or a family member or anybody, just saying like, I'm gay, I'm bi, I am actually trans. Turkey neck. Yeah, there's loads of reasons. Cross-dressing. Now this isn't really an LGBT term, but I suppose it could be included. There are some things that aren't directly related, but can be. A cross-dresser is someone who dresses in clothes traditionally and or typically worn by the opposite gender. So a cross-dresser, when you mention cross-dresser, people typically think of men in dresses or men in women's clothes wearing wigs and makeup. If you've ever seen the film To Wong Fu or Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, that's all about men and people who cross-dress. But this can also be done by a woman. See me, I'm actually wearing a work shirt that's actually a man's work shirt, and I'm wearing men's joggers, but that's just because I'm trans, you know. But that's basically that. Gay. Gay is a term, kind of a rough term. Like, some people are comfortable with just saying, hey, you're gay. Yes, I am. Some people are uncomfortable with it. But gay is someone who is involved with someone of the same gender, whether it be physically, romantically, or emotionally involved with someone of the same gender. And I think that's one of the most well-known terms. Gender expression. Gender expression is... Sorry if I'm talking fast. Gender expression is how a person represents herself and expresses their gender to others. This is often through different behaviours, clothing, hairstyles, voice or body characteristics, like if they have muscles and if you're a girl and you walk like a guy, wear men's clothes, have really short hair like a fade, have a really deep voice, you know, walks like a bloke. That's how they're expressing themselves as a man. Gender identity. Gender identity is a individual's internal sense of being male, female, or something else, like non-binary. Since gender identity is internal, someone's gender identity may not necessarily be visible to someone else. So if they're talking to someone and they're dressed like a girl, but they see themselves as a man, but they just don't express themselves that way. Gender non-conforming. Gender non-conforming is an individual whose gender identity is neither entirely male or entirely female, like non-binary. Non-binary. This is typically someone who feels they are in the middle, or like they're none. They don't see that. They sometimes see themselves as a woman. They sometimes see themselves as a man. They don't conform to either. Internalised homophobia. Like homophobia, which is the act of hating upon others and having hostile behaviour towards others for being gay, bi, etc., or not conforming to what is seen as the norm of, you know, being straight and a man going out with a woman and a woman going out with a man. Internalised homophobia is hating yourself for your sexuality. This could simply be because you want to be straight and you're not, and you feel that that's going to disappoint. And this also can be brought on by your surroundings and environment. If people around you are homophobic and you turn out to be gay or bi, etc., this can cause you to hate yourself, which can actually lead to a very dark situation, which actually has resulted in suicides before now, which is terrible. And intersex. Intersex is someone who's born with external genitalia, chromosomes, or internal reproductive system which isn't traditionally associated with either male or female. If you watch the show Faking It, Lauren from that show is actually an intersex. She was born with male and female chromosomes, but she developed as a girl, as she says. I'm sorry, I shook that. But she developed as a female. She says it in the show. She is actually an intersex. But you wouldn't think that. You think, oh, look at that pretty girl. And pansexual, which is one of my favourite sexualities. I don't know why. I just feel like if you're a pansexual, you've got to be so open. But I'm not a pansexual. Well, I don't really know. I'm really complicated. But pansexual is a sexual orientation that refers to people that are attracted to other people regardless of their gender or gender identity. Basically, they can love anybody if they're attracted to their personality. Say if whoever's watching, like, I'm not saying I'm attracted to you, but say if there was somebody and you're a girl and you see this other girl and you typically see yourself as straight, but you fall for their personality, and then you realise like everybody is nice, and then you fall for a trans person because of their personality, and you fell for all these different people. I'm not saying you're a slut. That's basically pansexual. You're not bothered by who they are. Like, you're not bothered by what they are. You like who they are as a person. And the next one is transgender, man and woman. I'll put it on as one. Transgender is an umbrella term for people whose gender identity and gender don't match up. For example, a transgender man is an individual whose biological gender is a woman, but who identifies as a man, such as myself. This is known as an FTM, female to male, if they choose to transition. The vice versa is said for trans women whose biological gender is a man, but they identify as a woman. And the next one is transition. Transition is a process during which a person begins to live as their new gender or gender identity. Transitioning may include changing your name, taking hormones or HRT, having surgery, and or changing legal documents. This can be done in many different ways. For me myself, I would like to start transitioning as soon as possible, but because of these things, last time I tried to transition, if you notice my voice is a little bit deeper than most other people's, it's because I started taking hormones, testosterone, and my voice started to deepen, and I started trying to pass, but I couldn't because because the binders never held these down completely. I'd still have a bump, which would be, say that was my body, and that's, well, let's say that's my body and that's my chest. Normally when I binded, they were still sticking out like that, so that's my stomach, my fat stomach, and that's my chest. They still stuck out, and people just know, and so I had to stop taking hormones, and I'm having to save up for top surgery, which is having these removed, and I'm getting the double incision. But unfortunately, because the NHS where I live, because I live in the UK, because the NHS may be getting privatised, I may have, normally the cost of getting top surgery is subsidised, so you don't have to pay that much, but as it's getting privatised, I might have to pay the full price, which is £6,000. So I've set up a GoFundMe. I just thought I'd bring it up because unfortunately it's like 6,000. It's the surgery may be something like 8,000 if I get lipo, which I want to get because I'm quite fat, I'm quite chubby. So I've set up a GoFundMe. I'll leave that in the description below if you feel like donating. Please do, please do. It'd be so helpful, and it could help me transition, which is what I really want, because I have quite bad dysphoria. But I'll explain that at the end of the video, because that's one of the things I've been talking about. But changing your name, if you notice, this channel's called Kinda Nathan, because I've already had my name chosen for me, because my name is Elise. My middle name will be Ellis, because my mum doesn't want to like lose me completely, because she's scared of me transitioning. My name is going to be Nathan Ellis. The reason, I don't know really, I'll explain it in another video, but basically that's my name. I'm kinda Jacob because I'm trans, but yeah. Taking hormones, like I said, T. Having surgery, top surgery and bottom surgery, I'll explain that in another video. And changing legal documents, which means changing like your birth certificate, driver license, all that fantastic stuff, social thing. Next one, HRT. HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy, which is taking hormones like testosterone or estrogen, depending how you're transitioning, to help your body change and transition into what feels more comfortable as your gender identity, which means taking T, so you get more masculine features, you'll start growing facial hair, you'll get more refined, and after I think it's 3 to 5 months, your body fat begins to naturally redistribute. Instead of being on your hips, it redistributes to other places, which is why most people when they're on T tend to put on weight, because they tend to look like fatter, bigger, because instead of being on your hips, it all goes to your front and more masculine places like your thighs, and it's horrible. And dysphoria. Dysphoria is very bad for people who suffer with it badly. Me myself, I suffer with dysphoria because I hate my body, I hate the way I look and stuff like that. I'm pretty good at hiding it, but dysphoria is basically feeling bad about who you are, really. Like some videos which I'll be doing, I'll have to put a trigger warning at the beginning because it may trigger people's dysphorias. It's being uncomfortable with who you are and hating yourself for who you are. So I've got a brush here, and I was like, because I put on powder because I had a really bad breakout, and you can still see it there. I had a really bad breakout and my face was all red, so I put this on because it was making the camera look weird. But yeah, that's what dysphoria is. And that's all for this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. Anything really helps. If you've got anything to say, leave it in the comments below, and I always read comments what I get, because I have another channel, Nephilim Gamer, which is my gaming channel. If you want, you can go check that out. I won't link it because it has really nothing to do with this channel, because that's gaming and this is trans. So but yeah, subscribe if you want, and that'd be a lot to me. And don't forget, I'm going to leave my GoFundMe in the description. If you can't, donate, share it around so other people know, because if I get the money before it privatises, I may be able to just refund everybody. because I won't have to pay 6,000. It'll be more in the about 1,000 when it gets subsidised. It's quite cheap when it gets subsidised. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But for now, bye.